Welcome in to Garbage Time Fantasy Football. We are late starting as usual, and we are sorry to annoy you like Russell Wilson annoys his teammates. It's time for Garbage Time. Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I am JJ LaPlante, joined tonight by the workhorse of the podcast, Joe McCann. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I got a question for you, JJ.
Yes.
Is it called the Mile High Club if you do 4,000 squats on a plane while your teammates are sleeping?
I don't really know what it's called. Annoying is all I can come up with.
Annoying as shit. Guys, if you like what you hear on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, make sure to like and subscribe to the show here on YouTube. We are also live on Twitch and on Twitter. You can join us on Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football if you have any questions, or on Twitter at Garbage_Time FF. And you can listen to us in audio formats at Apple, Spotify, Google, Tunein, Iheartradio, and anywhere else you get podcasts.
Way to spit all that out because I could not have done that fast.
Yeah,
also, we have a contest going on. If you would like to win this signed Miles Sanders card, Joe, what are the 4 things that they need to do?
Oh, it's just really quite simple if you want to win that card. All you do is have to like and subscribe to the show here on YouTube. Leave us an Apple review, a truthful one or hateful one. We don't really care. And then comment in the bottom that you were part of the heckling fandom. And then we are going to draw your name out of Ron's disgusting hat. And you'll have a chance to win that nice autographed Miles Sanders card at the end of the fantasy season.
Oh, it's disgusting hat.
It is, but it's perfect for Garbage Time Fantasy Football.
It is. It's the same one on the garbage can and our logo here on the top right. It smells like garbage too. All right, you ready to get into some news?
Let's do it.
News updates.
Before we get going, can I just ask you one question about our thumbnail?
Yes.
Is there a specific reason why the Call of Duty guy is on the front of our thumbnail with a heart emoji above him?
Yeah, so the new Call of Duty comes out tomorrow, I believe. It's tomorrow or Friday. I bought it early, so I already have it. But
oh boy.
And it's obviously next to Kyler Murray's face. So, there's a lot of statistics that show his performance starts to die off when the new Call of Duty comes out annually.
And that is a correlation.
Yeah, he's already had a down year. So we'll see. He's got a good matchup. We'll get into that in a little bit. But
gonna have good matchups online too.
Yeah, I'm sure the matchmaking is going to be great. All right, so first bit of news I have, Zeke has a knee sprain and is not expected to play against the Bears Sunday. So where are you ranking Tony Pollard this week? Is he a locked-in RB2? No question about it?
I mean, he's really got to be at this point. I kind of touched on this a little bit on Monday. Zeke ended up coming back into that game, but I said watch the swelling on that knee, and lo and behold, here we go. Zeke is out for this weekend. Pollard is their really only option back there currently. His quarterback is back. The weapons seem to be coming back. I think he's definitely a locked-in running back 2 on the week.
Okay, I would agree with that. We have the return of DeAndre Swift. He was a full participant today. He's marked healthy on Sleeper, ESPN, everywhere. He's expected to play Sunday finally after starting out so hot. He really screwed over fantasy managers by being out so long.
Yes.
Is he going to come back and be the same guy and rebound some fantasy seasons, or what do you think?
It's going to take 2 weeks. I think he's going to come back a little bit banged up this week. I think he's going to be a little bit rusty. The Dolphins' defense is all right against the run. I think coming off this injury, you'll see them ease him. It'll be more of he'll get more than 50% of the work, I think, there. But week 2 is when you'll really start to see him take off again. But yeah, you have to play him. He was one of the top fantasy running backs easily at the beginning of the season. So you're going to have to play him and hope for the best.
All right. I think he'll rebound and do pretty well. He just needs to stay on the damn field. Next, Kyron Williams designated to return to practice. So obviously the Rams running back situation has been a dark spot on the team with the weirdness going around with Cam Akers, who is still not practicing with the team. So do you think Kyron Williams has any value? And if fantasy owners haven't stashed him, should they do it now?
So, yeah, not only that, Henderson is dealing with an illness as of right now, from what I'm hearing. They're talking about Kyron Williams coming back. They were giving him a lot of hype during week 1 before he went down with that injury. Yes, they were using him on special teams, which on a lot of teams would dictate that you're not getting the starting work. But I'm under the assumption that the Rams are probably going to end up cutting Cam Akers in the next week or two after the trade deadline. So Kyron Williams has opportunity here. And if you haven't stashed him now and your waivers are later in the week, say Wednesday or Thursday, because I don't know what fantasy leagues are doing that. Yeah, I think you need to pick him up, and he should be in that opportunity to stash and someone you should be evaluating from your bench at least for a week or two.
Okay, I agree. So the last thing I have, Andy Dalton is named the starter, which is interesting because Jameis Winston was a full participant at practice. It kind of seems like they're just giving that job to Andy Dalton. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think he's going to be the starter the rest of the year? And does that have any impact on how you see these Saints guys?
Now, are they giving this job to Andy Dalton because they really don't want to win?
Possibly. He did throw for there was a lot of garbage time, but like 340 plus yards on Thursday night. So, and he seems to be kind of in sync with Olave. So I think it actually helps the Saints fantasy-wise.
Yeah, maybe a certain tight end that we used to call a quarterback. What's that name, JJ?
That would be Mr. Taysom Hill. I'm gaining respect for him as a tight end because he's not a quarterback anymore. Even though he does vulture Kamara, he is proven to be a valid tight end 1. So,
all right, we have a comment here from the Heckling Fandom on Twitch. Unknown Conan says, do I start Aaron Rodgers versus the Bills, or do I pick up any of the following? Daniel Jones versus Seattle, Trevor Lawrence against the Broncos, or Matt Stafford versus the 49ers? First start of this answer on my part, we'll see what JJ's is after, is no, you are not starting Aaron Rodgers against the Bills. That'll be very fucking bad for you. After that, Daniel Jones against Seattle. I was his biggest hypocrite in the offseason. I'm having to come around to that because of the rushing ability. Seattle was a middling kind of target, but I'd rather have him over Aaron Rodgers this week. Trevor Lawrence against the Broncos is a definite no against me. That Broncos defense is stout against everyone, except apparently Geno Smith. And Matt Stafford versus the 49ers. It's about at the same level with Aaron Rodgers with me. Believe it or not, out of this entire list, I think the one I would most likely be to start this week is Daniel Jones. What's your thoughts on this, JJ?
Yeah, I would not start Rodgers. He has a thumb injury, which he's been dealing with, obviously. Alan Lazard is banged up. He went on the Pat McAfee show and ripped his wide receivers. I want nothing to do with that. It's a terrible matchup versus the Bills, whose secondary is playing great right now in Buffalo. So for me, I would start Matt Stafford, actually.
Okay.
The 49ers defense is really good, but they're super banged up. The Rams just had a bye week. Sean McVay's had a long time to plan for this game. I think they're going to come out and put up some points this week. They got to win. They need to turn their season around. So I think that and obviously we just talked about the running backs. They don't really have a set guy at running backs. They're going to throw the ball. So in this group, I would probably start Stafford versus the 49ers rather than Rodgers.
Who next out of these 4?
Yeah, probably Daniel Jones, the way he's been running the ball.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What do you got for me next?
I think that's it for news. Why don't we jump into these game previews?
I'm all right with that. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
And guys, if you want to heckle us, feel free to do that by leaving us a voicemail at www.garbagetimeff.com. We play all the voicemails on this show, and we'd like to hear from you.
Yes. All right, so let's get rolling. I'll go right off our pick'em list in that order. So Thursday night tomorrow, we have the Ravens headed down to Tampa to face the struggling Bucks, who are 1 point underdog or 1 point. I'm sorry, 1 point favorites versus the Ravens.
Dogs.
So who are we starting in this one? Rashad Bateman is banged up. He's questionable with that lingering foot injury. What's the fantasy outlook like for the Ravens passing game if Bateman is out?
It's going to be a lot of Mark Andrews.
Sure?
If he's healthy, it doesn't feel like any of their players are actually healthy, and a lot of them are questionable going to Thursday. This may be the kind of week with Ravens players that you're just really trying to avoid most of them outside of Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson. For the simple reason they're playing earlier in the week, you may have to pivot off those options, and you can get better evaluations off players playing this Sunday, because Thursday night games, typically the plans are vanilla. They're like last Sunday's plans, and they are just absolutely banged up. If I can avoid the Ravens wide receivers this week, I think I am.
What about Gus Edwards, who got the bulk of the touches? He's also questionable and banged up. Can you trust him as a flex? Well, you wouldn't want to play him in your flex, obviously, playing Thursday night, but is he worthy of consideration?
I think he's worthy. Yes, I do think he's worthy of consideration, even regarding the injury, because he did get the red zone work there, came away with some nice touches there in the red zone. And that kind of puts him in the low end running back 2 potential, I think, on the week. Regarding the injury, you're going to have to watch that right up until game time. But if he's playing, yes, he's a solid start for you, I believe, in your RB2 spot.
Okay. All right. And then on the Bucs side, I think you're starting the usual guys, right? You're starting Godwin, you're starting Evans, you're starting Fournette. The real question is, are you starting Tom Brady?
No.
No. You're throwing him on the bench.
No, you're throwing him on the bench. He's going to be outside of the top 12, I believe, this week.
Okay. So you just got to see him kind of rebound, right, and start putting up numbers again?
Well, the Carolina Panthers had a pretty decent defense, but when you put up the kind of performance that he did against them, and your offensive line seems to just be shuffling around to where everything's so out of sync that Mike Evans is even dropping wide open catches in the open field, there's something wrong with the offense currently. And I want to see more consistency from this offense before I'm throwing Tom Brady back in, which is something I thought I would never say for fantasy football.
Okay. Yeah, that's it'll be interesting to see at home. Ravens defense has been playing pretty good. And getting the pass rush. Their secondary's been playing a little better the last couple of weeks. But okay. No Brady. Let me ask you this. Brady or Matt Stafford?
Give me Stafford.
All right. No Brady for Joe.
Not this week.
Did I miss anything on this game?
No, I think you've covered that pretty well.
All right. Next game, we go to London. And the storyline of this one is, I think, Russell Wilson. He made the trip with the team.
This guy's so fucking weird.
Yeah. I really don't know what to think. I have to believe the Broncos are punching themselves in the face over the trade. Anyways, it seems like he's going to play, in my opinion. Questionable. If he's making the trip all the way across, I have a strong suspicion he's going to play. So who are we starting in this one? Would you start Russ if he plays versus Jaguars? Anybody besides Cortland Sutton?
Oh, God. I kind of think Russell Wilson will be okay in this game up against Jacksonville. Jacksonville doesn't have the best secondary. They give up a decent amount of points.
Yeah, they just put Shaq Griffin on the IR as well, so they lost their top corner.
God, yeah, that weird asshole is going to be, I think, all right for fantasy football this week.
Okay. Hey, I forgot to ask last game, so who are you picking? Ravens, Bucks, sorry.
It's going to be the Ravens.
Okay, you picked the Ravens. I went with the Bucks at home.
Okay.
All right, so you think Russ could be okay? I think you're starting Sutton if you have him. What about Judy? Maybe in the flex? What do you think?
Jerry Jeudy with Russell Wilson playing hasn't looked good. He looked good with the backup. No, I'm not playing Jerry Jeudy this week.
Okay, shutting Judy down. And what about Melvin Gordon?
Well, there's a lot of injuries in that unsuspecting committee back there. So, yeah, I think you can play Melvin Gordon this week.
Agree. I think you can start him as a flex play. Obviously, again, it's the early game, so you're probably not going to want him in your flex, but I think he could get going in this one. So,
I mean, Mike Boone's not there. I understand they, propped another running back out of the coffin as his backup, but he should get the work this week.
I agree. All right, so I like Dolchich a little bit.
I love Dulcich. I actually love Dulcich in this game.
He's played good. Last week he had the targets. He didn't have the yards and the touchdown, but he's really emerged as a Broncos tight end one. So if you had like Njoku, who's going to be out for a while, I've replaced Njoku with him in a couple leagues.
Do you like Ingram on the other side?
Evan Ingram?
Yeah.
He's playable. They're in the same kind of category. It's the tight ends underneath Andrews and Kelsey, and it's a total crapshoot. So, yeah, I think he's definitely startable. And then, yeah, continuing on in the Jaguar side. So we saw James Robinson get traded, which you guys touched on.
Yep.
So Travis Etienne, is he an RB1? Looked great last game.
Not this week. He's going to be an RB2, but not this week. The Denver defense is insane. Absolutely insane.
Insane? All right. And it came out, I don't know if you guys touched on this or not, but Jermichael Hasty
we did actually.
Yeah, he's going to get the touches as the 2. So what do you think that split looks like? 80-20, 70-30, 60-40?
It's kind of feeling like a 70-30 to me. Ron was a little bit higher on him than I was. He was thinking that you should probably pick him up as a waiver. He thinks he's going to be a very viable cuff for him. I'm a little bit more skeptical of that. I think you're going to see more of that 70-30 push. They really invested a lot of capital into ETN, and I think they want to get him the ball as much as possible. So look for him to get the majority of the touches very heavily.
Okay. I like it. And Trevor Lawrence, I'm not starting him in a 1 QB league.
Nope.
In a QB2 league or a 2 QB league or super flex, I think you can start him as your 2, but
I don't even think there. I think he's going to be outside of the top 24 this week. I think they're going to expose him.
Going to shut him down, huh?
They shut down everyone.
Okay. All right. Christian Kirk, flex.
I guess.
Joe is not high on the Jaguars this week. He wants nothing to do with them. All right. I feel you. All right. So I take it are you taking the Broncos in this one? It looks like you picked the Jags after all that.
This is one of the toughest ones of the weekend. The Broncos are horrible on offense. I mean, they've been losing games to teams that they've been holding under 17 points. So if the Jags can sneak away with a win, scored 15 to 18 points in another awful London game, they may do it. So I'm on the fence as to who will win this one. I'm going with the Jags for now, but just barely.
All right. I'm going the Broncos kind of with the same logic as the Bucks. Like, it's so fucking bad. They just have to win. That's the direction.
Then again, I've talked myself out of it because I think Russell Wilson can have an okay week too. What happened to him?
I don't know. A lot of people think he was always kind of a little bit overrated, but a lot of stories coming out about his time in Seattle. But all right, let's move on to an NFC South clash of the Titans. Panthers at the Falcons. Who are we starting in this one? I'll start with the Panthers. I'm not starting PJ Walker.
No.
I'm starting DJ Moore.
Yeah, I think you can comfortably start him now. I think they're going to pepper him with targets, and I think we're going to see an ascension of DJ Moore over the next few weeks.
Yep. And then something I didn't really mention in the news, but Chuba Hubbard was a DNP today. So I'm not sure if he's going to play. So Deontay Foreman, are you starting him?
He's a lock and loaded start this week. He was last
All right.
week. I really liked Deontay Foreman when we saw CMC get traded. I immediately picked him up in some of our leagues. I was confident he was going to get the work over Chuba Hubbard. I think he's more talented. I do not give a shit that the coach said that Chuba Hubbard is the starter. He is going to get the majority of the work going forward. And I think he's, by the end of the year, going to be an RB2 that'll help some people win leagues.
Yeah, you scooped him up pretty quick. So Deontay Foreman and DJ Moore, I think that's it for Carolina. Nobody else I really want to touch the 10-foot pole there.
No.
And then Atlanta, just the disappointment of Drake London and Kyle Pitts. It's alarming.
All right, I formed this question for
player.
Single player. There's one maybe. The rookie running back. He had a pretty decent week last week.
Algier?
Yeah, I think Algier is potentially a player you could throw in your flex, but just barely. I think he's more of a break glass kind of emergency flex player. Played decent last week, but the Carolina Panthers have a pretty stout run defense, but he could be volume heavy because the Falcons run some more. So just based on volume, he could get you maybe 10 points.
Yeah, in a game that they lost, they gave up 480 passing yards to Joe Burrow, who accounted for 500 yards. The Bengals scored 35 points. The Falcons threw the ball 13 times. How does that happen?
Because you don't care about your passing game. You're going to run the ball.
My God, 8 completions.
They have a formula and they stick to it.
Yeah, that's great.
See, the skill players they drafted are for the future. It's not for this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I really think they need to turn the keys over to Desmond Ridder soon to see what they have there because they need a quarterback and maybe a new coach. Probably a coach.
Arthur Smith sucks.
Yeah, I've not been impressed. But all right. So are you starting Kyle Pitts if you have him?
I mean, oh God. I mean, you don't wanna, but you kind of have to still, I think.
That's just
what a nightmare.
It is. It's the curse. If you have him, you have to start him because he's Kyle Pitts, but he's just continuously plaguing fantasy managers that took him in the 3rd or 4th round.
I would rather play Denver's rookie over him. Currently,
Dolchich?
I would. But on the name, you just have to roll with it. Disgusting.
It is. All right, so only one you maybe starting Tyler Algier with 16 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown if you're hurting at running back. And Kyle Pitts, if you don't have a better option, run him back out. He's going to score again at some point, right? Maybe.
Awful. I hate the tight end position so much.
It's not good. Not good. All right, I'm picking the Falcons in this one at home. I don't know why. It's the Panthers.
Give me the Falcons.
All right. These games are hard to pick in a bad way. All right. Next game, the Chicago Bears head down to Dallas to play the Cowboys. 10.5-point dogs.
The dog.
So we touched on Tony Pollard in the news. We're starting him. You're starting CeeDee Lamb. What do you think about Dak? He looked a little rusty to start last week. What are your thoughts on Dak this week?
I think he's going to fall in the top 12 this week. Just barely. I think you can start him, though. I don't think he'll do anything insanely impressive, but Chicago's got a sneaky defense, but Dallas should have enough to play all right against them. So, yeah, I would start Dak this week, I think.
Yeah. Bears 5th in scoring defense. We're giving up the run a lot to start the year, but they really shut down the Patriots on Monday night. The defense is actually playing pretty well. The young safeties and corners are playing better. So I think the Bears cover, and this game is closer than people think.
Do they win, JJ?
I was just looking at that. Did I pick the I think I picked the Patriots last week. I did. I'm picking the Bears. I don't care. I'll take a loss. Screw Ron for passing me in the pick'em, but this is why he passes me in the pick'em, because I make picks like this. But back to the Bears side of the ball before we get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So this running back situation is getting a little bit scary. There's a lot of people that think there's a chance that David Montgomery gets moved. I think he's going to finish the season with the Bears, but he's really in a timeshare with Khalil Herbert at this point.
Herbert's closing in on him on touches.
A little bit, yeah. So last week, Herbert I think he had 12 carries, and Montgomery had 14 or 15. So, and they had the same exact amount of yards. I think it was 15 for 62 and 12 for 62 is what it was. And then both of them scored. So, I think if you have Montgomery, you're starting him. He's going to get the touches. They're going to rotate. And if you have Herbert, I think he's, in consideration for flex, but Dallas is a tough defense.
What's your thoughts on Darnell Mooney this week?
I will play no Bears pass catcher. Fields is a low-end QB1, high-end QB2, I think, with the rushing, the amount of carries he's had every game. The last couple of weeks, he's had double-digit carries. He ran in a touchdown. They're starting to call designed runs for him. So if you're in a pinch at QB, I think you can play Fields, but I'm not trying to do it right now.
I think I would completely avoid Fields this week. That Dallas defense is something else.
It's for real.
Yeah.
Only in a pinch would I do it. And if, the last 3 weeks he scored like 20 fantasy points. So if he does it again versus Dallas, you really have to start taking a look at him being in consideration for QB1 weekly.
That's fair.
All right. So no pass catchers for the Bears. Consider Herbert, start Montgomery if you have him. And Fields in a pinch and as a QB2 and a super flex, 2 QB.
I think you covered that pretty well.
You're going boys. I'm going Bears.
Yeah, sorry. Can't give it to you this week.
I wouldn't either.
Although I will thank you for your service of beating the Patriots on Monday Night Football. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. Nice to be back here so I can actually talk about the Bears and football again after my last week's hiatus.
But did I not tell you that the Bears would beat the Patriots just so Bill Belichick can beat us to go into second overall?
You did. I said there's no way he's going to pass Hallis. You called it. Bears said no way you're taking that from Hallis versus us. So, and another thing to keep that up, just because I have to talk about useless Bears things. In the game on Sunday, the Cowboys plan to honor Emmitt Smith. It's the 20th anniversary of him passing Walter Payton in all-time rushing yards, and they're doing it versus the Bears.
That's rude.
So it is rude. So, maybe a little extra motivation. You never know.
Maybe.
All right, next game. So the title of this episode is Tyreek Hill, 200 yards. We have the Dolphins going to Motown to play the Lions. Terrible defense. Is this just going to be an offensive clinic by the Dolphins, or is this going to be a close game with the gritty Lions?
This is going to be a shootout on both sides, I think.
Okay.
It's going to fall into that kind of formula. I've got a feeling that the Dolphins will get up early and Detroit will kind of roar back, and this turns into a nice fantasy game for everyone.
It really seems like it's going to be a track meet with Hill and Waddle and Mostert in the Dome in Detroit versus a terrible defense. So
worst in the league.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about Dolphins playmakers this week. So for the Dolphins, I think Tua is startable.
Mm-hmm.
I like Waddle, obviously. Hill, you're starting both of them, and then Mostert is an RB2 this week, in my opinion.
What's your thoughts on Gesicki?
I don't know. He's in a lot of trade rumors, but he's been involved. Again, I can't fault you for starting him if you don't have Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, or Kittle. So
you don't think they'll look to showcase him?
Maybe a little, but if he gets in, I'm not going to be shocked at all.
No, but I mean, you have to throw it to Tyreek and Waddle in this game, I would think.
Yeah, they have nobody that can cover either of them. So, yeah, so Dolphins to the moon, I think. And then on the Detroit side of the ball, if Amon-Ra St. Brown plays, you're starting him. Swift is back, you're starting him. Hopefully he can give a spark to the Lions offense and they can get back to those prolific numbers they started the year with.
Yeah.
They got shut out by the Patriots and then had the bye, and then last week they were muddled down by Dallas. So
The player I'm really watching on Detroit's side, though, here is the one that's not injured here. It's TJ Hawkinson. I think he could have a very solid week against the Miami Dolphins and maybe finish in the top 3 of tight ends on the week.
Yep. Yeah, that would not surprise me at all. I agree. And if you have him, you're starting him either way.
You have to.
All right. I think that's really all I had for this one. I didn't miss anybody, did I?
Nope. Track meet. Move on.
Yep. All right. Next game. Call of Duty is out, baby.
Let's
And
do
Kyler
it.
Murray is going to be on the sticks, and he's going to be playing football Sunday. What do we think about this game, Joe? Is Kyler finally going to have a good game, or is he going to continue to tell his coach to calm the fuck down while he doesn't throw any touchdown passes?
He's going to tell his coaches to calm the fuck down. He's going to juke on that stick and have a great game against the Vikings. This is also going to be a very nice game for fantasy on both sides. This will be Kyler Murray's game. Kirk Cousins will be good on the other side too. And all the weapons are going to get some nice feasting moments in this game.
Okay.
And as we said yesterday on the podcast, we really like Rondale Moore in this matchup. He's going to be going back to the slot. I do believe the Cardinals will fall behind early in this game. And just like the Detroit-Miami game, I think they'll roar back. This will be a close game by the end. Him going into the slot, I think Murray will look to get comfortable with him. Obviously, you're playing Hopkins in this. Justin Jefferson is an animal. And, you can play Vikings senior citizen as well, too.
Vikings senior citizen?
Yes.
Adam Thielen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. On the Cardinals side, I didn't mention this in the news, but it's also alleged that the Packers, Aaron Rodgers wants the Packers to trade for AJ Green.
Can he just shut the fuck up, please? Yeah, you already have Sammy Watkins. You really want AJ Green now? You want the ghost of Sammy Watkins and AJ Green, and that's who you want to throw to.
I don't know what he's doing there. So
he's been hanging out with Russell Wilson too much. That's what's going on.
Apparently,
those two are quirky, man. Ugh.
All right, so yeah, starting your playmakers: Dalvin Cook, Jefferson, Joe touched on them all. I think we pretty much covered this one. You're starting your regulars. Rondale Moore is in consideration for a flex.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
I mean, Ertz, what do you feel about the Cardinals running game?
Look good. I didn't. What was I'm trying to find the Cardinals injury report. Is Connor still being Connor?
I kind of feel like he is. I honestly haven't been paying much attention to Connor. I haven't picked him up in any leagues.
Yeah, he's limited again. I mean,
Ito really kind of feasted last week and Thursday night. It was a quick week turnaround, so Connor didn't really have time to get healthy. So they played him. So I'm really not quite sure of what Connor's status is going into this weekend.
Either way, I think will have a role. You can run on the Vikings for sure. So if Connor's out, definitely play Benjamin, I think. And if he plays, you can start him, but I don't think he'll get a full workload because he's James Conner.
Is he more of a DFS play for you this week? Maybe Eno is a cheap option.
I don't know. How much did his price go up at? I got to believe he's cracked the 5,000 mark. I have not looked at DFS enough this week yet.
No, it's only Wednesday. Why would you?
I usually put in my initial lineup Tuesday.
Damn. I do mine Thursday.
But yeah, if Connor's out, absolutely play Benjamin. And if Connor's in, you can play both of them with caution.
A lot of caution.
Who you got in this one?
Vikings.
Yeah, I picked the Vikings too.
I mean, it's not exciting, but they're a pretty good team this year.
Coming off a bye, we'll see how Kevin O'Connell does off bye weeks. How good a coach he is. but they can definitely score on them. So, all right, moving on. Next game, Raiders at Saints. Raiders are banged up right now. Carr, Waller, and Renfro all limited at practice with injuries, and then Devontae is sick. So, what do we think about this game? Are the Raiders going to score on the Saints defense that all of a sudden sucks?
Maybe Hollins will.
Matt Collins?
Yeah, you might have to look at him this week. It sounds like a lot of those Raiders are banged up.
Yeah, I think they're all going to play, but
I do too.
I don't know. They're feeling the pain.
I think they're all going to play. I mean, that Saints secondary was absolutely atrocious against 2.0 experience Kyler Murray last week. No, I think the Raiders could, even regardless of the injuries currently early on in the week, could have a very good week against the Saints.
Yeah, I agree. Marshawn Lattimore is still not participating in practice with a abdominal injury. So, yeah, I think they can definitely be had in the dome too. I think Adams can definitely have his way with them. Hopefully, Waller plays this week. He's still dealing with a hamstring. He's limited. So if Waller plays, you're starting him. You're starting Devontae Adams. Starting Josh Jacobs, RB1.
Secretly a RB1.
And
nobody talks about him.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming. Everyone was disgusted when they had to draft Mark Jacobs in the running back dead zone. Mark Jacobs, what the hell am I talking about? Josh
Jacobs.
I'm tired.
It's okay. I feel you.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Renfro, what do you think about Renfro?
I'm very
3
indifferent.
targets last week.
I'm very indifferent to Renfro. I don't think I would start him this week, even against that good secondary.
I got him starting in our league. I hate it. I don't know if I can go through with it. We'll see. But I'm not seeking it out. Carr just does not look at him anymore.
I told you I'm watching Hollins this week. I've got a good feeling. Yeah, I've got a good feeling on him.
You heard it here first. And if Joe's wrong, I'm going to put him on the Cold Takes episode for that one.
Excellent. I've got a lot of them this year. I'm sure I'll be the star.
Well, I've got my Cam. I'm not going to spoil anything, but Cam Akers potential league winner.
Yeah, I kind of goaded you into that one, though.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay, and on the what am I looking at right now?
You're supposed to be looking at the Saints wide receivers. Yes.
Saints. You're starting Kamara. You're starting Olave if you have him. Michael Thomas is still
hurting his toenail.
He's got a hurt toey, so I don't think he's going to play. I don't really know what he's doing.
I just imagine them sitting him down in the locker room with a big blanket and a warm cup of milk, and they'd be like, "It's okay, Mike. We'll bring you back next week."
Yeah. Yeah, he's still a DNP, so I don't think he's going to play again unless he turns it around tomorrow. But so yeah, Olave, Kamara, and the only other ones in consideration are the tight ends. Any interest in Taysom or Juwan Johnson, who scored 2 touchdowns last week?
I'd have it in Taysom, I think, this week. I mean, Andy Dalton is the starter, which usually means Taysom's involved in some red zone packages. And as for a lot of years, the tight ends really suck. He may lay you a goose egg, but a lot of tight ends can lay you a goose egg, or he may give you 2 touchdowns. So I like Taysom Hill in the week.
Agreed. All right, who you got in this one?
Give me the Raiders.
Same, I picked Raiders. Ryan and Ron picked the Saints.
Ooh, nice split war going on there.
Yep, there's a split war in this next game too. Let's get into it. The Patriots, who just got absolutely spanked by the Bears Monday night,
fucking killed,
travel to East Rutherford, New Jersey to take on your New York Jets. Take it away. Give us a preview on this one.
Well, all right. So me and Ryan and a bunch of other guys are traveling to MetLife this upcoming Sunday to watch the Jets exercise their 20-year demons and fucking spank the Patriots this weekend. They just traded for James Robinson, who's going to have a few packages this weekend. He's not going to start. They'll have a few things for him, though. Might get in the end zone. But yeah, the Jets, I think, are going to win handily. And I'm going to say Garrett Wilson could have a good week this week because the offensive plan, now that Breece Hall is out, is going to adjust. And what I mean by that is they're going to get the wide receivers a little bit more involved. The ones that have been involved in the offense the last few weeks are Garrett Wilson. Elijah Moore's been missing. He's going to be back this week. I don't see him being viable this week. Corey Davis is going to be missing. But honestly, outside of Garrett Wilson at the wide receiver core, honestly, he's probably the only one I would play. What are your thoughts on Garrett Wilson this week?
I have not been impressed with Zach Wilson, so I have a really hard time trusting any Jets pass catcher. If I have to play him in the flex, it's probably where I'd play him, but it's really sucky that the Jets have these talented pass catchers and they can't get him the ball. It's going to be interesting to see the offense without Breece now because they were really leaning into him, and
they were leaning into him, but people forget that Michael Carter would start on a lot of teams in this league, so they're obviously going to have to lean into him this week. And the formula to beat the Patriots this past weekend was what, JJ? Run the fuck out of the ball.
Run for almost 300 yards.
Yes, and the quarterback on the Jets can run, and he's a pretty decent running back. So you can look for him to, I think, to be a high-end running back too this week. And we are going to stomp the shit out of them and hopefully get some turnovers.
Yeah, I like Carter. I don't see him as a 20 carry guy like Breece can be. So I think he probably has like 12 to 15 carries and 5 receptions. That's my guess for 20 touches, but a lot of.
And I think James Robinson will get 7 or 8 touches in this game. Probably, vulture a touchdown away from them because they'll want to get that excitement into the fandom.
Is Ty Johnson going to get some playing time now?
4 or 5 plays.
Yeah.
Not much.
All right. On the Patriots side, I'm starting Ramondre Stevenson, and that's it. What about you?
He is going to be the only one viable because all those wide receivers are going to get lost in the sauce this week.
Yes. Sauce Gardner, favorite for defensive rookie of the year, but Jaquan Brisker is sneaking up on him.
Yeah, let's not say that yet.
He's sneaking up. It's absolutely Sauce's right now, but Brisker keeps playing how he's playing. It's going to get interesting.
Okay.
Sauce will get it for being the higher pick, but
it's adorable you think that, but Sauce is the one definitely in the news.
You gotta have hope. All right. Did I miss anything here? Who do you got winning this one?
Oh, come on. Do you even need to ask? Obviously, I've got the Jets winning, and they are going to absolutely steamroll them this weekend. I honestly believe that we're going to exercise the demons this weekend. I mean, when's the last time you see the Patriots actually had a quarterback controversy coming into MetLife? I've never seen that.
Yeah, I probably should have announced that at the start, but yeah, the Patriots did announce Mac Jones as a starter for Sunday, so no Zappy. They don't have to worry about the crowd turning on Mac either because the game's at the Jets. So all that being said, I also picked the Jets, the 5-2 powerhouse Jets.
Look at that.
Burying the Patriots deeper in the division and in the conference.
Yes, we can bury the Patriots this week, and then the Bills can bury us next week and bring us right back to earth.
Yeah, you got to get this win for the Jets.
Yeah, I would like to get this win because I know we're about to get our asses kicked the following week. So we can go into the bye 6-3, and I'll be happy. I can forget about what's going to happen the week after.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Next game, we have the Battle of Pennsylvania, the Steelers at Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, boy.
So who are you starting for the Steelers? Najee Harris?
As a flex? Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, Najee. That's it.
I'm not playing Deontay. I'll play George Pickens, but I don't feel great about it.
He's the only other one that was really in consideration for me was George Pickens. Because I think Deontay will get the attention.
Pickens is in consideration for flex. He really seems to be locked in as Kenny Pickett's favorite target, but Eagles,
I think he's going to be in consideration for heavy garbage time in this game.
Yeah, makes sense. So on the Steelers side of the ball, Najee, unfortunately, if you got him, you're starting him. And then George Pickens in consideration for a flex. I can't trust Claypool or Deontay Johnson with Kenny Pickett.
No,
And
absolutely.
then Pat Frymuth, if he's playing, I think you can start him. He's still banged up like he has been all year, so it's a tough situation. What was his designation today? Pat Frymuth was limited in practice with his ankle, so there's a shot he plays. If he does, I think you can start him in tight end.
I mean, it's Wednesday and he's practicing. It's a good sign. He's probably going to play this weekend.
Probably. So I would start him if he's active. And then the Eagles side, you're playing your regulars: Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert. What do you think about Devontae Smith? Flex?
Yeah, you can definitely play Devontae Smith this week.
Okay.
The Steelers wide corners tend to give up nice passing work to wide receivers, and Smith's got to be in for a good week here pretty soon.
Okay. So pretty much all the Eagles starters on offense are playable and locked in. I got the Eagles winning this one. What about you?
They're going to win this handily.
All right. We got the Eagles moving 6-0. Last little note on this. Eagles just traded for Robert Quinn. Maybe that affects their defense.
So much fantasy viability here.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put it in the news. I just bringing it up. Quinn has not been good this year, but we'll see.
You traded a 32-year-old pass rusher. I mean, you're not going to get a second round pick for him. The fourth is okay.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it.
I know you were kind of venting about that in our chat, but he has 32.
Yeah, he had 18 and a half sacks. There's single season record that,
I know
you can dream. His contract just sucks.
There's a place in your heart for it. I know.
Yes. All right, next game, AFC South matchup. Titans going to Houston to play the Texans.
Get ready for a Derek Yeti game.
Derek Yeti playing Derrick Henry, obviously, for the Titans. Anybody else?
You could probably get away with playing. Well, Tannehill's actually kind of banged up a little bit too.
Yeah, really banged up. Heavily taped ankle.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot on the Titans side you really want to play with.
I'm not starting anybody but Derrick Henry for the Titans.
Robert Woods may be in the flex, but it's not a favorite flex option for me.
Unless you're in a deeper league, I have no interest in it, but yeah.
Now, I'm much more interested in some options on the other side, to be honest.
Yeah. Texan side, Dameon Pierce, Brandon Cooks.
Yes.
Anybody else?
I love Brandon Cooks this week. That Titan secondary is atrocious.
Okay.
So, yeah, Brandon Cooks is a great week start this week. Pierce is just awesome. I picked the Titans to win this week. It sounds like I'm talking myself out of that real quickly. Yeah, no, I like their options. I think I don't want Davis Mills could be a flex play this week again. I said that last week. He had a good game. He could have another one here this week. I kind of like Davis Mills this week.
Okay. For some reason, I picked the Texans at home in this one. I think they just need it way more than the Titans. Really desperate, and Tannehill's banged up. So I won the Texans.
I picked the Titans, and that may be subject to change.
Okay. All right. Next game, another kind of dud. Commanders at the Colts.
This is a big dud.
Commanders on a 2-game winning streak versus some shitty NFC North teams. But they seem a little rejuvenated with upbeat morale with Taylor Heineke starting. So what do we think about the Commanders pass catchers? Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas. Is Dotson going to play this week?
I kind of think Dotson will get back this week. He's been gone for a while. I kind of feel like that.
I just looked. He's still not participating in the hamstring.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
So Terry McLaurin, you're definitely starting.
Yeah, I do like Curtis Samuel in this game too. We kind of were a little bit down on him last week, but he showed a little bit of something last week. I mean, the run. I think both running backs are viable again this week too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you on that. Is there one that you prefer? I mean, to me, when I watch Washington,
it's got to be Brian Robinson. It's got to be.
Well, when I watch Washington, Gibson is so much better. He's faster. He's more explosive.
But they
He's
don't
a
like
better
him.
pass catcher. Yeah, you're going to go and play in a dome, and you're going to trudge Brian Robinson out there to get 3.5 yards a carry, running up the middle.
Yep.
I don't really understand it, but
you don't have to understand it. It's fantasy football. You go with the volume, and Brian Robinson gets the volume.
I honestly think I would start Gibson over Robinson.
I don't think I would. I think both are viable. I think you can play both this week, though. I think Robinson is a flex and Gibson is a flex.
So it's been a minute, but I'm going to challenge you to an apology bet.
Oh boy,
Antonio Gibson scores more PPR points than Brian Robinson.
You can hit that button. I'm going with the man that plays 4 weeks after getting clapped. I feel confident.
All right. That's a good argument. It's a good
argument.
All right. Did I miss anybody in this game? I didn't even talk about the Colts side. So there's actually a lot to discuss because they have a new quarterback starting this week. Sam Ehlinger takes over. How's Michael Pittman going to transition?
He'll be fine. Pittman's the kind of player I think that'll play well with anyone who plays quarterback. I think he's kind of ascended to that level. I like Michael Pittman this week.
So I think this really could be a Jonathan Taylor game.
Well, that's a given.
Well, I think, with Matt Ryan, they were trying to throw a lot. And I think they're really going to try and get back to their foundation of Jonathan Taylor as this offense.
But according to the owner, Matt Ryan looks like Peyton Manning.
Yeah, that lasted long. Then there were rumors that he was responsible for Matt Ryan getting benched. So who the hell knows? Jim Irsay's a weirdo.
So Sam Ehlinger.
Yeah, Sam Ehlinger. So I think it's a Taylor game. You're obviously starting Pittman if you have him. What about Paris Campbell, who's really come to life, but that was with Matt Ryan. Is he going to have a spark with Ehlinger?
No, the work goes back. If Ehlinger has even a decent week, it goes back to Alec Pierce.
Okay.
No, we have played this game with Paris Campbell for the last fucking 35 years. I am done playing this game with Paris Campbell.
35 years.
It feels like it, honestly. Paris Campbell's name gets brought up at least once or twice a year. We see the freaking hallmarks on a Paris Campbell in training camp every year. I'm done with it. I'm not doing the experiment. Do not buy into the Paris Campbell hype.
All right. What you got winning this one?
I mean, come on, really?
You got the Commanders? You picked the Commanders.
Yes, I've got the Commanders. Sam Ehlinger, I know nothing about him. That's why I'm going with the Commanders.
Okay, I picked the Commanders too. I think that Taylor Heineke's spark continues and they win an ugly, weird game. Who the hell knows? Ron picked the Colts.
I mean, he plays a weird, ugly game, but it's not always bad. It's just ugly.
So this next game, the only game with two teams with winning records playing against each other, the New York Football Giants and the Seattle Seahawks.
Never thought I would say that.
So weird. All right. Giants, you're starting Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
I think you're starting Wan'Dale Robinson if he's active.
Oh, I'm definitely starting Wan'Dale Robinson. Ron got real lucky. His team needed a wide receiver, and I think they have found it.
Yeah, he stepped right in, and he was in that Sterling Shepard role that Daniel Jones loved to pepper with targets and throw to. He was having a great game. It really sucked he got hurt. Mm-hmm. So if he's playing, I definitely think he's worth a flex consideration. I think that's it on the Giants side. You can start Daniel Jones if
I think he's somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. He's very, very viable this week. I just the rushing upside.
Pat Mahomes is on a bye week, so there's the owner of Pat Mahomes probably doesn't have a second quarterback. So, I mean, I think you can add Daniel Jones and play him.
I think you can play Geno or him, honestly.
Yep. So let's get to the Seattle side. So DK was a DMP at practice. I really don't think he's going to play. I think it's going to be
No,
Lockett.
he narrowly missed having surgery on this injury. I think he's going to miss a few weeks, honestly.
Yeah, so I don't think he's close yet. So I think it's going to be Tyler Lockett and then a mix of Marquise Goodwin and maybe Dwayne Eskridge, or D. Eskridge as he goes by.
I like Goodwin on this week, though. We saw what he could do a little bit last week. I think Geno's got a nice chemistry with him. I don't think we'll see 2 touchdowns out of him, but I see him as a nice flex option this week.
I just watched him on the Bears all last year. I don't know. If you need to, I just think there are potential better options out there. But yeah, Lockett for me. Ken Walker, you're 100% playing. Who's a stud, clocked in the fastest speed of any player this season so far last week. And Geno is in consideration if you need a fill-in guy for sure.
Yeah,
those numbers have been down the last couple of weeks. I think that's it for this one. Anything else? Who you got winning?
That's about it, I think. And originally I had the Seahawks winning, but all right, Ron. It's probably the first or second time I've actually picked the Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants. I will finally drag myself onto your bandwagon. There is something here.
Are the Giants really going to be 7-1?
How?
I don't know if I can pick them.
How?
I got the Giants.
Yeah, but did you ever think you were going to pick Geno Smith?
I think this is like a Jeremy Lin with a New York Knicks situation. Linsanity. I think at some point reality's going to set in, and
I've been saying that for the last 5 weeks, though. They just keep winning.
You know what? I'm switching into the Seahawks. They're going to lose in Seattle on the West Coast.
That is true. It's East Conference. Going to the West
I'm locking in the Seahawks, even though they don't have DK Metcalf, and it's probably stupid.
It's so funny going through this show, though. I've already changed a few of these in my mind. I'm going to be going back after this podcast and changing a few of them.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, JJ.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about in these games. Next game, this should be an absolute beatdown, or I hope it is. The Green Bay Packers at Buffalo Bills, Sunday Night Football. Who are you starting for the Packers besides Aaron Jones? Are you starting anybody besides Aaron Jones?
I'll say Romeo Doubs. I think we'll get up for this game. He's talking a lot of shit about these wide receivers, and I like that rookie. But besides that, no one. Nope.
I think you can consider it. It's hard to go to a guy that just put up a goose egg with the Packers playing really bad on offense. A.J. Dillon, I'm done with him. If he has one more week, I've held him all year. I've drafted a lot of him.
I think you have to hold him just based on who he is, but you've got to bench him.
He's that lotto ticket if Jones gets hurt. But, yeah, that has not been good. The Packers just need to realize they need to run the ball and be a run-first team.
With fucking both of them because they're both highly talented. This week, I think the formula for A.J. Dillon sucks. The Bills are stout up front. Honestly, his, brother in the backfield there is the much better matchup, I think, and just overall the better player for this matchup against the Bills. But I think they're going to get fucking stomped this week. I do.
Yep. So Aaron Jones and maybe Romeo Doubs in the flex. If I'm not super excited about it. I'm really pissed off.
If you're feeling sparky.
He cost me a lot of money in DraftKings last week. So, because I played him and Michael Gallup both.
You were close.
Yeah. Anyways, on the Bills side, you're starting your regulars. You're starting Diggs, Gabe Davis, Josh Allen, obviously. I think Devin Singletary, you're starting him.
Yep.
You can run on the Packers for sure, and I think there's a real possibility that the Bills get up big and run the ball. And the way the Packers have been playing on offense, the Bills' defense may be the number one defense on the week too. So
it's kind of got the feeling of that. The yearly Bills trading for Kareem Hunt rumor is out there again. Any chance they go and get him?
I don't think they need to.
I don't think they will.
Singletary's been good. Why? I don't think they need to mess with it. Are you really upgrading that much?
No.
To present day Kareem Hunt, who's just going to be a rental.
No, but the beat reporters are squawking, so I had to ask.
Who knows? Maybe it'll happen, but I don't think it's necessary. But I think everyone has the Bills on this one.
Yeah.
Yep. Bills easy. All right. Last game, Monday Night Football. Bengals in Cleveland at the Browns. Bengals offense really starting to click here. Burrow back-to-back monster weeks. Him and Chase are linking up again like they did last year. Chase is a little banged up, though, with that hip injury. What are your thoughts on the Bengals offense in this one?
He's going north of 300 again and 3 touchdowns. I think the hot streak continues. That secondary for the Browns is vulnerable, and I think he's going to take advantage of it again. The Bengals have just decided, as we talked about earlier in this week on the podcast, that, you know what, the offensive line is shaky just like last year, so we're just going to put him in shotgun and have him throw it all over the field. And that is a formula that seems to work for Joe Burrow, so look for that to continue this week on Monday Night Football.
Agreed. All the receivers are playing well. Jamar Chase is banged up, but Tyler Boyd has been great.
Picked up the
filling in
slack.
here. And Higgins has just kind of been a safety net. What do you think about Hayden Hurst?
Very viable. I mean, like I said, it's a heavy volume offense where 3 of these players are going to end up being viable. Why couldn't one of them be Hayden Hurst?
Okay. And Chase, I think he was limited today. I'm trying to find it, but I do think he's going to play. So
I do too.
I don't worry too much. Yeah, so excited about the Bengals offense, and I really want Burrow to keep his success because you and I were in the Burrow camp in the offseason, and Ron was very dismissive.
And we need some cold takes for Ron. So
we do. Oh, I got some written down.
Very good. I'm sure you have a whole nice list for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Have you dug any out for Ryan? He seems to always be hard to find some, but
no, I haven't. For that guy, I just like me. I know I said some stupid things. I've got some for you and Ron. I always have stuff for Ron, but Ryan he's slippery. All right, last team to discuss the Browns. Starting Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt you can play him. Not super pumped about it, but you can. Amari Cooper. And then Noah Njoku, who was becoming a staple as a starter.
Is now gone for a few weeks.
Yes. So I would start Cooper, Chubb, and is that it? Kareem Hunt.
What about Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Nah.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. I think that about covers it then. I mean, you're playing Mixon, right?
Yes. I didn't even talk about him.
I mean, you didn't.
I didn't really talk about any of the Bengals. I just talked about
Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Burrow, Mixon, Chase. I think Boyd is a flex option.
Play all your Bengals.
Really well. Yeah. Browns defense has been garbage. What about Harrison Bryant stepping in for Njoku as the backup tight end?
No, I'm not buying in.
All right. I think if you're in a deep league and in a pinch, you can maybe look at him. Brissett has really shown he likes the tight end, so
he's always liked the tight end.
Yes. So I think that about covers it. We went a little over an hour here, but not bad time. Had a decent bit of news to get through.
Yeah, did good, I think, tonight, JJ.
Yeah.
We even added in the Thursday night game.
We did. We had an extra, so that makes up for it.
Absolutely. Hey, JJ, question for you.
Yes.
If you want to win this card, how do you do it?
You like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You leave an Apple review.
Mm-hmm.
And you comment, I am part of the Heckling fandom.
Damn right. And where can you find the show?
You can find the show here on YouTube. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Spotify, Simplecast, TuneIn, Pandora, Iheartradio. I think anywhere you can get a podcast, I think that's what we say.
Pretty much. That's usually what Ron goes with. And
if you want to talk football, I'm not as active as I should be right now, but under my ugly face is our Twitter handle, garbage_time FF. And hit me up on there, ask any sit questions. And yeah.
Yeah, and you can hit us up on Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Visit our website at www.garbagetimeff.com, where you can leave voice and hate mails. We really like when you leave the hate mails and talk shit to us because we play them live on the show and react to them, and that makes for some very entertaining things. Christian, we'd like one.
Yeah, where the hell has it been all season?
I know.
All season, Christian. You're in the league now, too. You got no smack to talk?
I know, right? Get back at it. You talk it in the league chat, but you don't bring it to the show. What the hell, dude?
Guys, something else.
Gonna have to get some Christian goal takes in our episode when we get to that in December.
He wasn't the last one.
I know, right? All right. Anything, JJ, we got to say to the heckling fandom before we get out of here?
No, have fun on your trip, Joe.
I'm going to. I can't wait to see the Jets absolve themselves of the curse that has lasted almost my entire life. And on that note, guys, have a great fantasy week. We will talk to you guys, I believe, next week.